So, thoughts on the season so far? It's not been good enough from Liverpool, I don't think. I think everyone will agree that. I think we started off all right, and then obviously Virgil van Dijk goes down, you lose Joe Gomez 23 days later, and everyone thinks you've got to enter the transfer market come January. As it stands right now, we've not entered the transfer market. All those fears, that adrenaline that Liverpool got through on that first sort of month or so, beating you guys and everything else, beating Crystal Palace, and then it's just been a terrible run of form against, teams that we should be beating, quite honestly. I think we're still doing all right in that sort of top 6 mini league for whatever that's worth. But it comes down to it that Liverpool's defensive issues have had a massive knock-on effect to everything. You lose Virgil van Dijk, you lose Joe Gomez, you throw a defensive midfielder in there, and what made us great, our consistency of player and style of play, is now almost what we're trying to get back to, but we're not able to get back to that consistency without that. So you think losing a centre-back wouldn't affect your strikers? It has. You think losing a centre-back wouldn't affect midfielders? Well, we've moved Fabinho out and we've tried to get Thiago in, and we've had loads and loads of injuries along the way as well, I think we're averaging something between 5 and 8 first teamers out every single game at the moment throughout the course of the season. I mean, it's been ridiculous, and of course some of them are quite short injuries, but they come back and it's stutter steps, and it's just taken a while. Like Trent Alexander-Arnold's not in form, but that's not to say that everything's bad. Mo Salah scores a couple of goals the other day. He's the top scorer in the Premier League as it stands, and we've still got the ability to go and beat teams. It's just we're majorly lacking confidence, and I'd like to see Jurgen try something a little bit different, because time and time again we're getting beaten behind Trent Alexander-Arnold with pace on the counter-attack, and that's obviously what worries me about playing Mourinho and Tottenham Hotspur, because you've got Son and you've got Kane, and they're absolutely unbelievable on the counter-attack. So yeah, it's been difficult. As far as our standout players go, I think you've got to give a nod to Fabinho for stepping into the centre of defence and performing so well. Andy Robertson's been brilliant up until maybe the last game or two, where he's sort of quieting down a bit, but he's been playing at an 8, 9 out of 10 every week. And now, maybe the last couple of games, he's probably just had a 7. But I think maybe he's been our player of the season so far for the level that he's reached and the consistency that he's had. And then you've obviously got to talk about Mo and Sadio, who maybe haven't quite been as good as previous years in their all-round game, because they're struggling to get the opportunities. But, you can't fault them for their effectiveness. Thoughts on Tottenham, really? I think Jose Mourinho's building a style of play that works for Tottenham Hotspur. I wasn't sure whether Mourinho football would work in the Premier League anymore. Now, certainly in the pandemic here, it seems to have had a lot more of an impact. I think he's building he's got the players to be able to enact his sort of style of play really, really well. I mean, I think Ndombele's a really great player. I think obviously, you got your two standouts in Son and Kane and Bergwijn and all these lads. You can understand just how good that they are. But, it's the ability to sit back and be calm under pressure, because everybody can play a low block, but you guys have only conceded, you can count on one hand, I think, how many goals you've conceded from open play this season. Is it 4 or something like that in the Premier League? And the problem therefore is set pieces for Tottenham Hotspur. So I'm sure with time on the training ground, Jose will be able to sort that out. That's something that it's his bread and butter. The hardest thing is to stop conceding goals from open play, and that's what Tottenham have done first and foremost. And obviously, you're getting a tune out of your strikers. They seem to be enjoying playing together, and they seem to have built up a real rapport over the last sort of 6 months that maybe wasn't there in previous seasons. So yeah, I think Tottenham are a really capable side. It's going to be a very, very tough game again. It's disappointing in that, this isn't a top of the table clash like it was just a few weeks ago. It very much feels like right now two sides that are looking to try and kick on from here, and they've put a strongish foundation down for the first half of the season, and now's the time to really turn the screw. Tottenham players that worry me: Son and Kane. I mean, Kane, because he's taught us a new arsehole how many times over the years. I'm thinking of you, Dejan. Oh God, I'd love Dejan Lovren right now. But Son, because the space, for us, as there were a few positives to take out of Liverpool's cup defeat to Manchester United, and that was just getting back on the score sheet for the first time in 5 games, because that was horrendous. But what was maddening for me, and why I couldn't look at the positive aspect as much as perhaps other people, is for 90 minutes they kept on attacking, and there kept on being space behind the right back, and that's ridiculous. I think that's really poor that you're not able to rectify that. Like, if Trent's not in form and he's not having the impact further up the pitch, sounds, don't push him so far forward, don't leave us exposed, don't leave that young centre-half Reece Williams exposed in that game. But I think Joel Matip will be fit for this one, and Joel Matip makes a massive difference because he's a centre-half and he's experienced and he's really, really good. He's just really, really injury-prone as well. So, score prediction for me would be 2-1 to Liverpool. I think Liverpool will go strong. I think Alisson Becker will go in goal. Trent Alexander-Arnold, Joel Matip, Fabinho, Andy Robertson with the back four. Probably, if Henderson's fit, which there is a bit of a doubt, I think Henderson probably goes into 6 with Thiago and Wijnaldum. If he's not, Thiago probably goes into the 6, maybe with Curtis Jones or Shaqiri and Wijnaldum, and then it's the front 3. It's Mo Salah, it's Sadio Mane, and it's Roberto Firmino in the number 9. So yeah, there you go. Thank you very much for having me on, Chris. I really appreciated it. I hope you're doing good, and I hope that Liverpool win. More for my sake than yours.